Hi, it's Paul. I'm always intrigued with this idea about what makes a salesperson successful. Why do some salespeople succeed, sell more, close more deals, get paid more than other salespeople? Could it be that they have better rapport building skills? Are they more personable? Do they have better product knowledge? Are they better at asking questions? Do they listen better? I'm certain that it's a combination of all of those. But if I had to select one particular area, I would say that it's your ability to listen to what the prospective buyer is saying and then to act on what they say. Now, by listening, this means a few things. First of all, it means avoiding what I call the rebuttal mentality. You know the biggest mistake with salespeople? The biggest mistake with most salespeople is that they talk too much. Somewhere down the road, they were taught that a salesperson must talk their way into a deal. When in fact, the reality is that the most successful salespeople in the world actually listen their way into the deal. Now, by listening, that means avoiding the rebuttal mentality. In other words, have you ever had a conversation with someone and you can just tell by their demeanor and their physiology that they're not quite paying attention to you? In fact, they're thinking about the next thing they're going to say, the next point they're going to make, how they're going to rebut what you're saying, or how they're going to come back with their own thoughts in the conversation. Well, your ability to listen intently for what is being said, for what is being implied, and also to listen specifically for the things that are not being said is going to help you set you up as a more successful salesperson. And then, once you hear or once you listen to what the buyer is saying, you must act on the knowledge that you gain. Give you an example. I recently had occasion to work with some realtors. And as you probably know, the MLS service coordinates with centralized showing in most areas. And so in centralized showing, you can receive feedback on the viewing of a particular piece of property. So on one piece of property, 3 different kinds of feedback from the prospective buyer. The first buyer said, we wanted 9-foot ceilings rather than 8-foot ceilings. The property had 8-foot ceilings. Well, it occurs to me that possibly the realtor could have asked that specific question or heard that answer somewhere in the demonstration or in the interview process to avoid that trip. Second scenario, the centralized showing feedback said, listen, my buyer is a physician and he'd like to live closer to the medical center. Well, the particular property in question was some 15 to 20 miles away from the medical center, or a 35 or 45-minute drive away from the medical center. Seems again like if the realtor would have done their homework and listened intently to what their prospective buyer was saying, they wouldn't have wasted their time, energy, and effort taking them to view a piece of property that was way out of their particular location that they desired. The third instance, the feedback came back and the prospective buyer said, that property was way too big for what we need. Again, you would think that in the interview process that the realtor would have the conversation with the prospective buyer about size, number of rooms, and the intent or purpose for the usage of the home. And so it was a wasted trip on the part of the realtor, on the part of the buyer, and a part of the property owner. All of that could have been avoided by listening more intently to the answers that were given by the prospective buyer, which means there has to be a really great set of questions that need to be asked in order to elicit proper answers so that you can act on those answers. So listening intently for what is said, for what is implied, and also for some of the things that are not said can give you clear indications about what is most important to the buyer, what their needs, what their desires are, what their wishes are, what their motivators are, what their fears are, and what they want to avoid, what they want to gain, so that you can match them up with the best property that fits their budget and their needs. All of that begins, your keen listening skills, all of it begins by starting with asking better questions. Yes, you have to listen, But just in advance of that, you have to ask much better questions. So what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to lay out for you what I call my Fab 5 questions. These 5 key questions I have developed over the course of nearly 30 years as a professional salesperson in the housing and real estate industry. These Fab 5 questions, you will ask them and design them according to your particular personality style and your particular rapport building skills. But the essence of these questions will set you up to listen to the answers that are given so that you can gain critical information so that you can provide the best fit, the best service for your customer, and also so you can close the deal. And that's what we're there for, isn't it? So stay tuned. The Fab 5 questions are coming right up.